My halls are decked and my crisis is hot, so let's do this.
But how are you preparing for Christmas, Hannah? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Midlight Christmas! Yeah!
Yay!
The best episode of the year. Except all of our episodes are good. You should listen to all of them. No,
Yeah.
but this one. Normally, this is a real podcast hosted by three grown-up biologists revisiting books from our teens, and it's totally cool. But once a year, we do a Christmas episode. If you have not listened to our previous Christmas episodes, it's not required, sort of like chronologically, but you should, because they're good.
Yeah.
So first, we'll introduce ourselves. I, as always, am Sophie, one of your hosts, and I have a randomly generated Hallmark movie title for today's episode. My randomly generated Hallmark movie title is Christmas Tree.
Just Christmas
Anything
tree?
else? Just that?
Nope.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow, okay.
okay. It's not even like rocking around the Christmas tree. It's just Christmas
Yeah,
tree.
not like, oh, Christmas tree, just
No.
Christmas tree.
No, not like at the Christmas tree inn or whatever. No, it's
Uh-huh.
Christmas tree.
Christmas tree. Okay, yeah. Cool.
Wow, that's great. Definitely want to watch that movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just thought it was so funny. Okay. What about you guys?
My name's Sam, and today my movie is Sleigh Bells Under the Stars. A
Aw,
normal movie.
that
Very
is a normal movie
romantic.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have anything funny to say about it. That
No,
just sounds
that's
nice.
just a real movie.
Yeah. Now I want to go for like a horseback ride
Me
under the
too.
stars with blankies and hot
Because-
toddies.
It'll be a nice romantic evening with you and your boyfriend, and also I'll be there because I want to come.
And also, I'll be there as your adopted child.
I'll be
That's
there
fine.
as the third wheel on your wagon.
That's fine. We're just one big happy family with the four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, who are you,
Anyway.
the last person?
The last person is me, Hannah. And my randomly generated Hallmark movie title for today is Ornaments Under the Tree. Which obviously is,
That means
is
that a
where
cat
those
has-
belong.
That means a cat has terrorized it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, a cat has been here for sure.
Man, talk about like the least useful gift to get on Christmas.
An ornament.
Ornaments.
The ornament that you immediately have to pack away
Yeah,
until
to
next
put it,
year.
yeah.
But did you guys not used to get like ornaments as a Christmas present? I used to get the
Yeah, we
Barbie
did.
ones like every
Yeah,
year.
sometimes.
We would keep our tree up until like New Year's just so we could like show off our new. I would get a Barbie and my brother would get a car. My dad would
Of
get
course.
some sort of Star Trek ship or Star Wars ship. Like
Yeah.
he's kept all of them, so now he has a tree in his office because he's not allowed to have it anywhere else in the house that just has all of the ships on it, and it's like his
Okay, that's
greatest
awesome.
joy in Christmas.
I like that.
It's great.
I am
Wow.
the person who is like in the Christmas spirit from October to March. So I discovered last year that if you have a fake tree, you can leave your tree up until March and it's fine.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah.
It's very in character for me.
Yeah. I believe it. So, for this episode, we are going to write a Hallmark movie.
Yay!
And by write, I mean just talk about it and not do anything with it after that.
Yeah, then spend all of next year saying, man, we should really write that. And
yeah,
then not
it's so
do
good.
that.
We should do
It's
that.
so good.
And so the way this works is that each of us have brought part of the story, I guess. We have Sam, who will be bringing a relationship trope. I will be bringing, like, the fairy tale / remake of a story idea. And then
Uh-huh.
Hannah will be bringing, like, a story trope as well.
Heck yeah.
And it's going to be great. So, I guess let's just get right into it.
Yep.
Yeah. No time for dilly-dallying. This is
no
Christmas.
time. We record for like a bazillion hours during these episodes, so let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it.
Yeah, so we just finished reading Aragon, but we have also already done a Christmas Dragon movie. So this will not be specifically Aragon based, but we are going to do like Aragon adjacent. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like a high fantasy Christmas Hallmark movie.
Gosh.
Like,
I feel like that's going to be so fun. Yeah. I don't know how we're going to be able to top Christmas Dragon LLC, because
really
that's
don't know
my favorite thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to try.
But we're going to try our darndest. So with that as our first sort of baseline setting, I will now reveal the story I have picked that we will be remaking.
Ooh-hoo.
As I've mentioned previously, there aren't like tons of Christmas stories out there. So having done 2 already, we're kind of, getting into the weird ones. But the story I have chosen is Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Yay!
Oh my god. Oh no, are we getting into monster romance? Say no.
Yes.
Okay, so like I will fully admit that I really thought about doing the Grinch, but the Grinch is like so similar to
Christmas Carol.
Yeah, A Christmas Carol, which we did last year. So maybe later. But yeah, so we're gonna do Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which like when it comes down to it, just like boils down to the main character. Everyone thinks they're weird for something about them, and then they end up saving the day at the end. That's what it comes out to.
Yeah.
But I did watch the stop motion animation Rudolph movie today.
Oh man.
Just to remind myself of the plot.
Yes. Can you give us a quick
Yeah.
reminder of the plot?
Yeah. So the plot is, of course, Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, is born with a red nose.
Whoa.
Like, the minute he's born, Santa and his dad are both like, what? Wait, his reindeer dad, not Santa's dad, are like, wow, that sucks. So Donner is his dad, puts a fake nose on Rudolph. When Rudolph starts reindeer school, the fake nose falls off and everyone starts making fun of him. But there's a cute lady reindeer there who's like, wow, you're cute anyway. So Rudolph is like, that's chill. But
quote from the movie, that's chill.
That's chill. But regardless of that, everybody, including several adult reindeers,
what the hell,
and Santa Claus, bully him out of reindeer school. So he runs away, where he meets Hermie, the elf who doesn't want to be a toy maker. He wants to be a dentist. This movie's so good.
It's such a good movie.
They wander out into the wilderness, meet a prospector named Yukon Cornelius. They have to keep running away from the abominable snow monster, which keeps chasing Rudolph because of his nose, and end up on the island of misfit toys, etc., etc. Rudolph leaves because he realizes he is endangering all of his friends, grows up, and then goes back home because he's like, wow, I can't run away from all my troubles. And realizes, and realizes his whole family and the cute reindeer girl that he talked to for like 2 seconds have all been missing for months looking for him. So he goes and rescues them from the abominable snowman. Santa's like, wow, maybe you aren't so bad after all. And then a storm flies in, makes it impossible for the sleigh to fly until they're all like, wait, Rudolph. And then, everyone kind of knows what happens after that.
Yeah. He'll go down in history.
I do just want to add, Hermie, the elf, is my favorite character, and he says
Can't imagine why.
extremely iconic lines, which are "You can't fire me, I quit,"
Yeah.
and and "Why don't we be independent together?"
So good.
So good. Anyway, yeah. That's
What a
the
good story.
What a great story. Except for the
guess.
part where Rudolph's mom is named Mrs. Donner.
I was thinking you were gonna say the part where Rudolph's mom and Clarice went to go looking for Rudolph, and Donner says, "No, this is man's work."
Yeah, I also wrote that part down.
Which is my dad's favorite part of that movie. It makes him cackle every time he watches it.
Yeah. He's like, "No, this is man work," and then they're like, "Anyway, let's also go."
Yeah. They just like wait till he leaves and then they also leave.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It's a good time.
Oh man.
Yeah, wow. It's great. So that's the story I picked. We'll somehow make it a romance movie, don't worry.
Yeah, there's a romantic subplot with Rudolph.
For sure.
It's Clarice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, once again, we've somehow managed to line this up very well. I really don't know how.
How could we possibly?
Oh, because I've decided the romantic trope is friends to lovers. So
wow. Amazing.
I legit have been thinking about it all day, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I think it's time for friends to lovers, because there's just been enough enemies and hatred going on that I was like, let's just get some good old love.
Oh my god. Childhood friends to lovers is my favorite romantic trope. I'm so excited.
And I also knew that, so I was like, let's do it. And then somehow you picked the story that has that exact trope. So
wow.
Here we are.
Here we are. Amazing. What about you, Hannah?
Yeah, continuing the theme of everything lining up perfectly, since we decided we were going to do high fantasy, I decided that our storyline trope should be the hero's journey.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how we're going to work that in, but I feel like it would be fun.
Oh my god.
And I feel like Rudolph and Hermie kind of do that.
Yeah.
So that's great.
That's good. Do you have the hero's journey pulled up anywhere? Because I don't remember it.
Yeah, so the Wikipedia page for Hero's Journey describes the narrative pattern as follows. A hero ventures forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are there encountered, and a decisive victory is won. The hero comes back from this mysterious adventure with the power to bestow boons on his fellow man.
Wow.
I don't know about that last bit, but it goes on like a magical journey and then returns triumphant.
Amazing. Magical journey for sure.
Yep.
I feel like an important thing about this is that, you know, some people might be listening up to this point and be like, you can't have a high fantasy Hallmark rom-com. Like, it's just good. That's just a high fantasy movie. It's not a holiday rom-com. But like, the thing is that it is going to be a Hallmark movie. But like, everyone's elves or whatever. Like, it's just gonna be an exact, we're gonna make it happen. Just trust us. You gotta trust us.
I currently have no idea how we're gonna do it, but I bet in an hour we will have done it.
We'll have done it, and it'll be great. Okay,
it'll be great.
So we need to talk about Rudolph and how he's not a deer in this story.
I was gonna say, are we leaving this as an animal story? Or are we making these elves or humans or elf-human mix or dwarves or... I
mean, Hermie the elf has to be an elf, right?
Yeah.
But like a Tolkien elf, not a Santa elf.
Yeah.
Like a big, tall Tolkien elf.
An angelic elf.
An angelic elf. Elf?
Yeah. Elf.
He's like if Legolas has like a sinus issue and really likes teeth.
Yeah.
I think Rudolph could be like a reindeer herder who like lives in the north of the fantasy land near the North Pole. Yeah.
Sorry.
And then Clarice, she lives in the village.
Okay, but wait, do we make Clarice like royalty or like a noble or something? Like add some stakes to it?
Yes.
Yeah, like in the Rudolph movie, Clarice's dad is the one who's like, absolutely not. This guy is weird.
Right.
So maybe it can be that. parental disapproval.
Parental disapproval, the most forbidden of loves. When your daddy says no.
Your dad, who looks absolutely like everyone else's dad.
Yep.
They all look
exactly the same. They're all the same model.
Yeah. What's the normal plot of like a friends to lovers? Like a childhood friends to lovers?
I haven't read a lot of them, but I've read a few. But usually it's like they're like the bestest friends, but then puberty happens, and like one or both start like developing feelings for each other, but they don't ever admit it to each other. And then usually there's like a little slip up when they're like 18, 19, where they end up making out or something like that. And then sometimes it throws a tiff in it, sometimes it doesn't, and they start dating right away. From the ones I've read, it's usually they like make out and then they like avoid each other. And then
they panic.
Yeah. And then they still try to be friends, but then they start dating other people and like can't do it, or like the significant others are like, what the this is the weirdest thing. And then they end up signal at the same time and then end up going on some journey or something together and realize, oh, you were made for me. I love you so much. Let's have sex on this car or something like that.
Oh my God.
On this reindeer sled.
On this reindeer sled. That's like, I think, I don't know, Hannah, do you agree? That's kind of like how it goes, you feel?
Yeah. I like the ones where one of them is like dating someone else, and then the other one gets really jealous but like won't admit it at first, and they like fight a lot. So it's like, why don't you like him or whatever?
Because you're supposed to be my best friend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we're supposed to be best friends, and it's like, well, why don't you like my boyfriend? And then it's the like, 'cause I'm in love with you.
Wow.
And then there's just like silence, and then they have like the jealousy and slight like miscommunication, and they storm off, and then the one person has to go think about it, and then they break up with their boyfriend and they get together with the childhood friend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Both great.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. So where do we go from here?
Yeah, so let's establish where we're at again.
Yeah, I think the important thing is that Hermie is an elf, and I don't think anyone can be human. That's not allowed.
Okay, no humans in high fantasy.
It's high fantasy.
So, yes, okay.
Maybe because like Rudolph is a deer, maybe they're like a druid.
Ooh,
Ooh, I like that. If Rudolph's a druid and she's like a mage or something like that.
Yeah.
I like
no, it's
that.
not enemies.
No.
Okay.
But it could be forbidden, because their magic comes from different sources, so it cannot mingle or whatever.
But we already put the forbidden in if she's a noble, so I feel like we don't want to mix it up too much. I mean, she could also be a druid. It could just be a village of druids. Like, that's dope.
Yeah. Okay, and
like
so there's like druid school, because again, they make fun of him at reindeer school.
Yes,
so it's the school where they learn how to be reindeers.
Yes.
As druids, when they shapeshift.
This is genius.
Reindeer school where you learn how to shapeshift into a reindeer.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I think we should decide, do we want the end to be like Saving Christmas?
It can be.
Fantasy Christmas? I mean, it's kind of gotta be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've read a lot of fantasy that still has some sort of celebration around, like, winter solstice.
Yeah, the solstice.
Yeah, so it may not be, like, Christmas in the strictest sense, like, because of, obviously, fantasy religious difference. But I think there would still be some sort of probably celebration around winter solstice. So
sure.
I feel like we could base it around saving whatever holiday is around then.
I think because it's a Hallmark fantasy movie, it's still got to be Christmas.
I mean, that's fair. We could also do that. We could just full on.
It's exactly the same, but it's high fantasy.
Jesus was a sorcerer.
Jesus was an actual sorcerer.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. Okay,
or was he a warlock and his patron is God?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You're the Catholic here.
Somehow this will be the most blasphemous episode.
I'm so sorry, bless me, Father, for I have sinned right now, and I'm going to continue doing it for the next hour or so.
This is...
Oh, Jesus.
I am
sorry.
so
no.
far from
Oh,
God.
dear.
No, it's fine. I declare it's fine. I was baptized. It's fine.
It's fine.
I was not. I'm a full heathen.
Sam's a heathen. Anyway, so okay, how are they? Let's figure out how they have to save Christmas. What's up with Rudolph? Like, is it still a red nose?
So wait, what is the thing that gets him bullied in this? Is it that like when he turns into a reindeer in his animal form, he has a red nose? Like, are we going quite literal here?
That's so stupid. We should come up with something better.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like it has to be that like he can't transform, like he's stuck in his human form or something like that.
Yes, I do like that. It could also be that he's like so good at being a reindeer, but he's like a lowly peasant that the upper classes get threatened and they frame him for something and drive him away.
I like that too. That's also good.
And then on his quest, he like figures out what actually happened and then has to come back and save the day.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and Hermes, that's his name, right?
Hermes,
yeah. Not
Hermes.
Hermes. And Hermie the elf helps him figure that out, and then we are assuming the like gold miner, I can't remember his name, is a dwarf, right?
Yukon Cornelius.
He's
obviously a dwarf.
Obviously a dwarf. Yeah. Okay. So if we follow like general structure, the elves, they all work together in the place that's in the middle. The elves are the big fancy people.
Yeah.
And then the druids or whatever. What if we just make them Ents?
Why?
Wait, why Ents?
They have like spikety things off their heads like reindeer.
No, I like druids.
I like druids better.
I respect the Ents. But I like
they can't
druid.
be in a romance movie? That's fair.
No, all the lady Ents died.
Oh. Damn.
I think we need to stick with druid. I like druid, and
I like druid.
Yeah,
and Santa's like the king elf.
What if it's just that? Like, what if this is the North Pole for this high fantasy land? Yeah, and this is where all the Christmas presents for the whole fantasy land are made.
Okay. I feel like this is almost too close to Rudolph.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be like, we save Christmas in this town, but it's not saving like Christmas for the whole world.
Okay. So then Santa would be like the king.
See the mayor again.
The king druid?
Or the mayor again.
The mayor again. We always gotta have a mayor.
Gotta have a mayor who's Santa.
Who's Santa.
I like king.
Yeah, he's the king of the elves, and the druids serve the elves.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay.
Well, that's what I'm pitching.
You're proposing? Okay.
Yeah. I think I like that, perhaps. And the elves work for him. And what do they do? What are they doing in this?
Do they, like, harvest the magic for a prosperous Christmas or something? Or...
Maybe the elves are just like nobles, and what they do is just be fancy and go to parties, and Hermie runs away because he wants to make a change in the world.
Sure, yeah, he wants to be a dentist.
Yeah, it's extremely important to him, and they're like, elves aren't dentists, that's a dwarf job.
That's a dwarf. Nobody is dentists.
Nobody is dentists.
This is harder than I thought.
This is a difficult one. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to string all of the ideas that I like together.
Okay, sounds good, yeah.
We can change them as we see fit. So, Rudolph and Clarice are druids, which are like the peasants under the elf rulers of whom Santa is the king. That sounds ridiculous already.
Yep.
They meet in shapeshifting school where they're all going to learn how to be reindeers. And Rudolph is so good at it that Clarice's dad, who is like the head peasant, gets jealous, and because the source material canonically has adults bullying children for some reason, he's going to frame this child for something, which we haven't gotten to. And they are going to drive this druid child out of the land where the people live, the
Christmas
North
Town.
Pole. He has to leave Christmas Town at the North Pole.
Yep. Christmas Village.
Christmas Village. Yeah, he has to leave Santa Claus Village, which, as we all know, is next to the food court. And he knows that he is not guilty of whatever crime they've charged him with, so he goes off thinking, I need to clear my name. At the same time, Santa's nephew, Hermie, has decided that he does not want to be just a noble who sits around and enjoys the world. He wants to go out and experience it and help people. And he really likes teeth, so maybe he can...
Why would you put it that way? I hate that.
He is so interested in chompers, and he's like, I'm gonna make everybody's life better because, oh my god, everybody at the North Pole eats so much candy, and they're all dying of tooth disease.
Yeah. Okay, so like once a year, right? Like the elf town, let's say, is like enclosed. And so once a year, you know, the elf king comes out to get the druids' help to distribute like magical artifacts to the whole area, you know? Or something.
It could actually be like once a year the elves open their gates and all of the druids and the other peasants in the area get to like come in for basically a goodwill feast, and everybody like gets to eat as much as they want, and they have like candy and stuff like that.
Right, but for some reason, for this once a year thing, whatever the elf king does can only be accomplished with help from Rudolph.
Yeah, it could be that Clarissa's dad, the evil guy who bullies children, has sabotaged the feast for nefarious reasons. And then it's the Lion King. Where Rudolph comes back and is like, no, it was never me. He did it all along, and he's doing it again right now. And then they're like, oh my god, throw him into the candy cane prison. And then they're like, wow, Rudolph, you showed up in the nick of time and saved the day. How can we ever repay you? And he's like, I want to be the head druid now. And they're like, okay.
Yeah. So, or because there's an abominable snow monster.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Bumble.
The one, like, on the shortest night of the year, the Bumble will come to attack the elf town and the druids if the king elf doesn't do the thing that he does once a year. Whatever it is. Distribute magical amulets to everybody in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's like the Prince of Egypt, where you have to mark your door, otherwise the Angel of Death comes and kills you.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, the Angel of Death, also known as the Abominable Snowman.
The Abominable Snowman.
And it's hard to write a story.
Yeah. I like my own ideas. So what if the King Elf brings everybody, like, into the village for this feast, because that's the night that the Bumble comes out, they all know, like, maybe it's the only day of the year because they're up in the Arctic where it's, like, full darkness for 24 hours, and Bumbles are nocturnal, so that's, like, the only day that they can, like, travel far enough to reach the North Pole.
Yeah.
So it's like, it has become a festival, but it started off as just like, everybody get behind the walls because the Bumble is coming. He might destroy your property, but at least he won't kill you. And then it, like, over time it turned into a party. And what's Clarissa's dad? Is it Blitzen?
I don't think he's named.
No, I think
so it can be any of them.
Yeah, he's not one of the big reindeers, I don't think.
Oh.
He just looks exactly like Donner.
Well, maybe he is sick of being, like, having to capitulate to the Elf King, Santa. So he's decided that this year he is going to secretly, like, open the doors to the city and let the Bumble in to, like, wreak havoc, and then blame it on Santa, which is what he did 10 years ago or whatever, when he, like, first had this idea that he was going to, like, attract the Bumble, get it to destroy the city, but something went wrong. the elves chased away the Bumble before it could do too much damage, and he blamed the kid who was like upstaging his daughter or whatever in reindeer school. This is
I was like, this is high fantasy.
This is a lot.
Yeah, this is not a Hallmark movie, but I like it. The stakes have to be way lower.
I mean, there's nothing that says the stakes can't be this high in a Hallmark movie. It's just traditionally they're not because they're low budget and they have to be done in an hour and a half.
This is a great point.
But if you decide to make a 2.5-hour Hallmark movie with an extreme budget to meet all the costume
is
set
it even
and
a Hallmark movie yet?
Yeah, design budgets needed to make a movie like this, there's no rules in the Hallmark encyclopedia that say that we cannot do this.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so let's start at the beginning again.
Yeah.
Do we have all the parts of it? What's the hero's journey again? He has to go get a magical artifact and come back and bestow it?
More or less. He just has to go on a quest, do something awesome, and then come home as a hero.
Okay.
Is the gist of it.
So what if it's that...
He goes off to slay the Bumble and then tames it instead and brings it back to be the guardian of the village.
I love
that. Or he accidentally brings it back early.
Ooh.
Or something. Anyway, no, hold on. You're getting me off track.
Sorry.
Okay, what if it's literally that the druids do their magic where they just like, I don't know, turn into like animals or do druid stuff. I should say I'm heavily basing my understanding of druids on D&D and World of Warcraft.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
That's like all I really know.
Yeah, outside of D&D, I don't know what druids do.
Yeah, no, this is a D&D inspired high fantasy setting for
D&D
sure.
druid. Yeah, okay. And so what happens is they just sort of turn into animals and help do stuff that way. But the problem is that when Rudolph turns into an animal, he glows. Like, so bright. Like, we're talking shadow and bone bright.
Whoa.
Okay.
He's the
Why
sun
would you
thing.
bring that up?
Whatever he is.
This is supposed to be a fun evening. Why would you bring shadow and bone into it?
And so when he leaves the town, or everyone bullies him out of druid school because they're like, what the hell? This is not how you be a druid. Druids have to be like quiet and sneaky and blend in with nature. He's like, damn, you're right. This sucks. And he gets bullied out of town. And then when he's out in the world, every time he has to like change shapes to try and stay alive, keep himself and Hermie alive, he keeps attracting the Bumbles to him.
Yeah.
And so finally he's like, fine, I'll just go off on my own, and does his hero's journey or whatever. But then he comes back and realizes that by being so super glowy bright, the Bumbles won't come to the town because it's too bright.
Okay. But that contradicts what you just said.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, what if instead of being like super just like glowy bright, he just has like so much like nascent magical energy that when he transforms, it like releases like a burst of magic as light. And it turns out that nobody realizes this because they like just think of the Bumbles as monsters. But it turns out that like Bumbles just feed off of magical energy. So every time he like transforms, the Bumbles are attracted to his magical energy. So similar to what you were saying. But then when he goes back to the town and like the Bumbles show up, they realize that the Bumbles just like want to be near Rudolph. They don't actually want to destroy the town or anything. Like the only reason they've wreaked havoc before is because they like have felt somebody doing magic and they want the magical energy, but they can't find it. So they're like ransacking the place looking for magic energy. And they discover that like, oh, if we, you know, live in coexistence with these Bumbles, then they can like protect us. We can feed them. Everybody will be happier and like more secure because they'll have their food source. We'll have their gigantic Bumble bodies. And it's like, wow, Rudolph discovered that the Bumbles don't want to hurt anybody. They are just hungry.
Sophie doesn't sound convinced.
No, I was like, this is not a resounding success. Okay, next.
I like it. I think just the more for both of our ideas, I'm just keep being like, this isn't a Hallmark movie.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that though.
The importance of the Hallmark movie. Actually, that's true, because it is kind of like the build-up of the love story, like, throughout the movie. Which we are missing. So maybe there's a way that we can bring Clarice with Rudolph when he escapes. Like, I think she needs to come with him and go on this journey. Okay, I know that doesn't fit the Rudolph lore, but...
Yeah, but that's okay. Do you remember what we did with the Nutcracker? That was not anything like the Nutcracker.
That was not even
okay,
close.
but I also kind of like the idea of giving her own, like, hero's journey.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think we need to have them together, though.
He leaves, and then she chases after him, and they have two, like, parallel stories.
Yeah, and that's perfect.
And if it was a book, they would have, like, alternating POV chapters, right? Mm-hmm. And they keep, like, almost running into each other, but just, like, passing through the same place, but one day apart. Or, like, one of them is asleep.
Kills me.
Yeah. One of them is, like, asleep under a pile of snow, and the other one walks by and doesn't even know it.
No, I mean, perfect. I love this. I mean that I hate this because it gets in my feels, because it's, like, that whole, like, you're just missing someone.
And oh my god, every
it's heartbreaking. Which,
okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, let's focus on the relationships between people. I think we should also try and figure out Hermie and Rudolph, and then the Island of Misfit Toys, where Rudolph gets all his powers.
Which is probably where Clarice should, like, meet back up with them, I think.
Where they find him?
Yeah, and then, like, she, like, witnesses, like, the whole him getting these powers or whatever, and then he's like, what are you doing here? And they have this, like, whole reunion, and then there's, like, a few days journey back, and that's where they, like, really start to be, like, realize they love each other, and then maybe there's, like, a makeout sesh in an igloo somewhere. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I really like the childhood friends discover their feelings through jealousy thing.
Okay.
And I also somewhat enjoy miscommunications.
Oh, no miscommunication.
But no, okay, listen.
Okay.
Like, Rudolph has never had a friend like Hermie before, and Hermie hasn't had one like Rudolph. And Clarice shows up and, like, thinks they're dating and is trying not to be jealous about it.
Yeah.
And then they end up having a thing where it's like, why have you been so, like, distant? Why are you being so rude to Hermie? He hasn't done anything to you.
I love it. Yeah.
And then she's like,
okay, wait, there's
she's like, well, you're dating him. And he's like, no, I'm not. I've been in love with you since I was 8.
The reason she thinks they're in love is the first time she, like, finds them, Hermie is, like, checking Rudolph's teeth.
Yeah. he's doing the thing where he, like, has his hand on, like, Rudolph's jaw and is, like, anchoring his
like,
head.
both sides
my God.
Being like, does it hurt?
And she, like, comes from, like, directly behind one of them, so all she sees is the, like, jaw holding and their faces angled towards each other, and it looks like they're kissing, but they're not.
Okay, I'm not mad. It's just like,
this is Rudolph has a toothache.
This is beautiful. Perfection. Yes. All of it. Love it.
Yeah. Amazing. Hilarious. Okay. I think because I think because of the way Hallmark movies work, I think Hermie and the person we end up making the prospector also have to be in love.
Yeah. I also love that. Yes. It's an elf-dwarf romance. Oh my God.
It's gonna have to be a Legolas and Gimli situation.
It is for sure.
Because they're in love and married.
Obviously.
Oh my God.
Incredible. Okay. So Hermie leaves the elf town for whatever reason that the elf town does what it does.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely, and probably all of us, have fallen into the trap of overbuilding this Hallmark world. I feel like we can probably just say that it's enough that, like, Hermie and Rudolph both run away from home for various reasons.
Yeah.
One was driven out, one just, like, felt like he needed to leave to, like, become independent. They become independent together.
One couldn't be fired. He quit. That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so Rudolph got, like, forced out, and Hermie chose to leave.
Yeah. And then they're independent together.
Which is why Clarice thinks they're dating.
Yeah. I just feel like that whatever is I just feel like this is me. We need to be more whimsical.
Okay, yeah.
Hallmark movies are so whimsical, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like in the elf town, they're making Christmas joy candy or whatever. And, you know,
I love the idea that they like make candy.
Yeah.
I don't know why specifically I want that, but like
they're just making like Christmas magic. And
they're like, it's high fantasy, so they have to make like physically build the spells that create Christmas joy. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then Hermes like, you're making all this magic, but all of your teeth suck.
Yeah, because you eat too much candy.
Yeah, and I just want to be a dentist. And everyone's like, absolutely not. Make your Christmas candy. And he's like, I'm out.
You're a wizard. You are not allowed to be something so mundane as a dentist. Get back to work.
Yeah.
And so he runs away, meets up with Rudolph. And then who is the prospector?
Yukon Cornelius.
Mm-hmm.
The
dwarf, who is just also there.
Yeah. He also left because
he wants to find silver and gold, if you recall.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah.
I think that's like a fair, just like he was out looking for some more silver and gold.
Actually, at the end of the movie, he finds a peppermint mine.
Oh, right, hell yes.
Very whimsical,
Yeah.
So maybe Yukon. The dwarves are the candy makers in this.
They mine the candy.
They mine the candy, and the elves make the magic.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how, like, Hermie and Yukon, like, come together at the end, as they realize that, like, they can combine candy and
dentistry
elf magic to help people's teeth. They
start
fluoridating the candies.
Yeah.
You're like,
so
wow, we're so much better together than we are apart.
Yeah, the dwarves make the candy, and then they send the candy to the elves, and the elves turn it into magic candy. And then the magic candy gets distributed or whatever.
Yeah.
Or we'll figure that part out later.
Yeah.
And so they meet up in the middle of nowhere, and for some reason they end up at a place that is like the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yes, that's where they solve whatever the goal of their journey was.
Yeah. So, like, okay, let's go back to it. The idea is that they're all misfits, but they have to learn that whatever makes them a misfit is actually super important for the world.
Yeah.
If only we knew what that was.
Rudolph, what? Okay. Why is Rudolph a misfit? Just because he's too good at being a druid? Because the nose glow thing is so dumb, but I can't think of a better substitute.
Yeah, I know you were saying that you didn't want to follow the plot exactly. But
it could just be like, maybe he
just glows as an essence. Like, he just glows
like
general.
An aura.
Yeah, like maybe he just has like a glow around
I don't like
him.
that, but I guess it.
I know it's not
works.
The best, but
it's like the glowing guinea pig in Sky High.
Excuse me?
What?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, wait, that's two separate people. The glowing guy and the guinea pig. It could just be that like Rudolph, the way Rudolph druids is like different from how druiding has always been done. And it's like, well, we don't do it like that, and like you have to druid the way we do, or you can't be a part of our community. And then they kick him out, and he's trying to like repress the druid part of himself because it's the thing that like got him kicked out of his home. And something happens on the Island of Misfit Toys where like he either has to like protect his friends, or he meets like an encouraging mentor, and they're like, no, just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad. Like, you are a powerful druid. Look at how strong your reindeer legs are. You can like,
you can drop kick the moon.
you can punch the moon right out of the sky.
Right out of the sky. Okay, the what if the Island of Misfit Toys is like a bunch of elves who can't do magic on candy to bring Christmas joy or whatever?
Okay.
Because like, in theory, there are a bunch of toys that all want to go to houses for Christmas. But they're misfits. So what if they just have like really weird candy spells?
Or they're like, I mean, we don't like to talk about She Who Must Not Be Named, but they're like the equivalent of squibs, where they just can't do magic.
Oh.
Well, I sort of thought that it could tie into, like, now I've made Hermie the main character.
That's okay.
Where they're like, oh, you can do other magic on candy instead of making it be Christmas joy. And that's actually useful. You know, like...
Yeah. Yeah, maybe some of them, like, don't do the right magic, some can't do magic, and their whole thing is, like, you don't have to be like everybody, or everybody else, to be wonderful.
Yeah.
And basically this just becomes a story of, like, self-esteem.
Yeah.
And coming of age.
Yeah, like, maybe there's a druid and elves. And, like, there's a druid who can only turn into, like, a mouse. Or, like, you know, instead of being able to turn into anything. And then there's, like, elves who can only cast, like, acid magic on candy.
Oh my god.
And people are like, why would anyone want that?
Don't do that, yeah.
But then they go back to
Christmas Town.
And maybe it's like Hannah's thing, where it was like the Bumbles eat magic, but maybe they just eat Christmas magic. And so if they come to town, then they're going to eat all the Christmas magic.
Oh,
and then no one will have Christmas magic candy anymore. It'll all be gone for the whole year.
The Bumbles will come and eat all of the Christmas candy.
Yeah, and then leave again.
Yeah.
And so maybe Rudolph can do, like, Christmas magic. Like, maybe his maybe he can only turn into a really festive reindeer, or, like,
oh, okay.
Like, so his druid magic gives off Christmas magic instead of druid magic.
Ooh, I like that.
And so that's why the Bumble is chasing him.
Yeah.
But then he's like, you know what? I've got to go back home. So he leaves his friends on the island of misfit toys. And then it's like, actually, now that I'm grown up and I'm a hot man, I have to go face my problems. And then when he gets back to Christmas Town, he's like, you know what? Maybe we don't have to keep the Bumbles away the way we've always done it, which I don't know what that is. But instead, we use acid candies and this druid who can only turn into a mouse. And then they bring everyone back.
Okay, I feel like we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
That would also make sense why they kicked Rudolph out in the first place, because he was too dangerous to have him around if he kept attracting Bumbles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then that's why Clarice was so outraged, because, like, how could you abandon a kid for something he can't control?
Yeah, when that whole town right next to us is full of Christmas magic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You hypocrites.
You hypocrites. Okay, I like this.
Okay, let's get back to Rudolph and Clarice.
Yes. When does she canonically rejoin the party? Is it when they're fighting the Bumble? Is it that far along?
They meet at Christmas school, or whatever, Druid school. Druid Christmas school. Yeah, and Rudolph turns into a festive deer with, like, jingle bells and holly on his horns, and everyone's like, huh?
Like, uh-oh. Yeah.
Absolutely
Why'd
not.
you do that?
Druids can't do Christmas magic. We live outside of the walls. That's how we get eaten by Bumbles.
Yeah, okay.
And he leaves because he's like, that was mean.
Does he run away, or do they, like, kick him out? Does he get his feelings hurt and run away and be like, if I'm so dangerous, I'm just gonna leave? Or do they actively, like, bully him out?
That's a great
I feel like
question.
That's too mean.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think that's too mean. He runs
I know
away.
It's canonical, but yeah, he runs away because he thinks it'll be better for everyone if he's not there.
Yeah, and then Clarice chases after him. And is like, I thought your reindeer was cute.
Yeah. It's like, there's nothing wrong with Christmas magic. We all love Christmas magic. That's why we live in Christmas Town.
Yeah. In the Rudolph movie, it's like 2 seconds. They have 2 seconds together, and then they're in love forever.
Yeah.
But how about, like, Rudolph hangs around outside of Druid school?
Yeah. Or it could just be that they've, like, known each other their whole lives and have always talked about going to Druid school together.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then when they finally go, they realize that Rudolph has this horrible mutation.
This horrible Christmas magic.
This horrible Christmas magic that makes him a danger for the town. And they're like, absolutely not. We cannot have a Christmas reindeer here. That's too dangerous. And as they're, like, discussing options. The adults are discussing, like, okay, how are we going to protect our child because I refute the canon? Rudolph does the, like, line before time thing and is like, I'm just gonna run away before I cause any more trouble for my family.
Yeah, I think the final nail in the coffin is, like, they're hanging out and Clarice's dad finds them and is like, Clarice, like, you can do better.
Be careful around that guy.
Yeah, don't hang
You
out
never
with
know
that.
what's gonna happen.
Yeah, with that weird Christmas druid. And so Rudolph leaves on the aforementioned adventure. And Clarice, after they realize he's missing, Clarice goes on her own journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe Rudolph is looking for, maybe he's heard of, like, the Island of Misfit Toys, because it's, like, kind of talked about as a legend of, like, people who, they just aren't right, like, their magic doesn't work right or something like that, and he's like, that's where I belong, I'm gonna go there and get them to fix my magic. Because he wants to be normal so he can fit in with the other reindeer.
Sure.
Because all of the other reindeer used to laugh at him and call him names.
Yeah. Yeah.
So his quest is to, like, go find the island of misfit elves.
Yep.
And, like, get his magic fixed. And what he doesn't realize until he gets there is that there was nothing wrong with his magic in the first place. And that's, like, the heartwarming twist to it.
Yeah.
And then Clarice's journey is to find Rudolph. Hermie's journey is
to become a dentist.
To become a dentist, to find some good teeth.
Yeah.
And Yukon's journey, he's just prospecting for candy.
For candy, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the comic relief character, so he's just looking for candy.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Do we want to take a rehydration break?
Yes.
I would love a rehydration break.
Okay.
This is the episode where we all get the one episode a year where we get drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why we need a break in the middle.
Which is why we need a break in the middle. If we're going to talk about our themed drinks for this episode, I have made, both Sam and I, a similar drink to what we had for our Christmas dragon, which was the Scorching Wine, which was a blueberry mulled wine. But I have decided that for high fantasy, this drink is now called wine, but with a Y in it. That's how you know it's fantasy.
I am mad at you. How dare you? Fine.
That's really good.
Thanks. It's also very good. It is very tasty.
It is very tasty.
Sounds good.
We used secondhand homemade wine for it, and you can't even tell.
Can't even tell.
Wow.
If you drank this
Impressive.
wine just on its own, worst wine you've ever had in your life. You make it mulled wine with some brandy and other garnishes. Fabulous.
Really tasty.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Wine.
Wine.
It's wine.
Pronounced the same.
How dare you?
I mean, I'm currently drinking just regular wine with an I, although now I'm thinking of it as wine with a Y because that is so funny. Because I ran out of lemon juice. But for the first half of the podcast, I stuck with the classic Double Hot Crisis.
Yeah.
Double Hot Crisis.
Double Hot Crisis, which is 2 shots of whiskey, 2 shots of lemon juice, a blorp of maple syrup, and then topped off with hot water. And it is delicious.
It's a hot toddy, but with maple syrup. Essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
Extremely Canadian.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're bud.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, but...
Anyway, let's talk about this movie we're making. So,
yes.
because it's been several minutes, let's recap.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Please, what is
Rudolph.
going on?
Rudolph is a druid outside of an elf town. In the elf town. Christmas town. Christmas elf town.
Mm-hmm.
Where the elves make magical candy that spreads Christmas joy or something once a year.
Uh-huh.
And Rudolph, he uses Christmas magic.
Yeah, his druid magic is not just druid magic. It comes with, he's double classed with Christmas magic.
Yeah. He's dual specking into
Dual spec, yeah.
Christmas mage.
Yeah. Yeah. The elves are Christmas mages.
It's in one of the new Wizards of the Coast books. Listen.
Yeah, the solstice supplement. It's fine.
Yeah. The festive book. Anyway,
Yeah.
so he's dual specking into Circle of the Moon, I think is the animal one, druid,
Okay.
and then Christmas mage. I guess it would be Christmas wizard.
Christmas mage just sounds so good.
I like Christmas mage.
Yeah, so he
Listen,
can
this
only...
isn't exactly a D&D world. We can have Christmas mages.
Yeah. Then it's a World of Warcraft world.
Oh, no.
He turns into very festive animals.
Yes, jingle bells. It's a
Yeah,
whole
jingle
thing.
bells, holly, the whole...
His reindeer flies? What's up with that?
Yeah, the reindeer flies, which is so weird. Anyway, and because of this, he gives off Christmas magic, much like the town. And the Christmas magic in the town is in danger, always, of being eaten by the abominable snowman's monsters.
Oh no!
All times.
Whoa,
That's why
scary.
that's why they live inside a big wall.
Uh-huh. Very Attack on Titan.
Yeah, very... I've never seen it, but this is
Attack
probably...
on Bumble.
This is probably exactly the same.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan, Christmas edition. And then, because of his Christmas magic, everyone is like, what the hell? You can only turn into weird flying reindeer with holly and cranberries on it or whatever. This is ridiculous. And they laugh him out of town, including some adults. Everyone laughs him out of town.
No, he runs away because he doesn't want to put them in danger.
Right, but it's...
From the Bumbles.
Right. I think they still...
They probably still laugh at him.
Because he turns into a reindeer that's covered in, like, mistletoe.
Yeah,
that's
like,
pretty absurd.
What the heck is up with that?
What is up with that?
What is up with that? Wait, okay, by that logic, that, like, in the elf town, just, like, wherever you go, there's just, like, spontaneously appearing holly and mistletoe and...
I don't see what's wrong with that.
Yeah. It's really inconvenient. If you do big...
The mistletoe is so inconvenient.
Yeah. If you do big magic, just, like, a whole evergreen tree will grow in your house with presents
so
already under it.
Yeah, there's, like, designated big magic areas.
Yeah. Forests that they then use for firewood.
Yeah.
Anyway, this all makes sense. So he runs away, and while he's running away, his best friend for his whole life, Clarice, they've been talking about going to druid school forever. They've been so excited. And Clarice chases after him, being like, I don't think it's dumb that your reindeer turns into covered in holly. Sorry, did that sentence make sense? That the reindeer you turn into is covered in jingle bells and holly.
That's better.
And he's like, thanks, Clarice. We'll be friends forever. And she's like, of course, no matter what. And then in that moment, Clarice's dad shows up, who is the mayor.
He's the mayor?
The druids. There's the mayor of the druids and also the king of Elftown, who is Santa. It's very complicated.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Actually, I guess that would make him prime minister. So Clarice's dad is prime minister of druid school.
Yeah. Keep going.
I think this is going really well so far. At that moment, he's like, absolutely not, young lady. This guy turns into some kind of flying reindeer. You deserve a man who is just a normal gravity-controlled reindeer. And
she says, Dad, we're just friends. Because she totally has
a
crush on him.
Yeah. She's like, my best friend. And only friends.
We're only friends.
We're only
Subscribe to our only friends.
Oh.
AKA Patreon.
We don't have either of those. Anyway, okay, so and then Clarice's dad is like, get your butt home right now, Missy. And she's like, fine, Dad, because they're children.
They should probably be teenagers at least, right?
No, because they're
Please.
just best friends.
Yeah, but if Rudolph is gonna run away and survive on his own, I would be extremely uncomfortable if he's like 8.
Like every YA book ever. Okay, they're
Please,
like
okay, but
they're
can we
like
make him like
13.
15?
Yeah, okay. They're Aragon aged because we just
Yeah.
read Aragon.
Yeah, and
They're
that was
15.
totally fine.
Normal. Yeah. Okay, they're 15.
They're 15.
And so he's, so sad, and as he's walking away,
Full of teen angst, he trips over Hermie, who's canonically in a snowbank in the Rudolph movie. Right,
just living there. And they immediately become not best friends, but second best friends, because
second best friends.
Yeah. But current best friends, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because nobody will ever
be more best friends than Clarice and Rudolph, yeah. And Hermie's like, dang, I just want to be a dentist and not make magic candy. Mm-hmm. Because everyone's teeth are rotting out of their heads with their magic
because of all the candy.
Yeah. And I quit. So let's go on an adventure. And they're like, chill. So they leave together and they meet
to be independent together.
And then they sing a song about it. What if this is a musical?
Ooh.
Hear me out, guys. What if we have to incorporate all of the exact songs from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? No.
That's too much work.
I can't.
No, that'll be for the production team. We're just the screenwriters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, anyway. And so then they meet an extremely hot dwarf, I assume.
Yes.
Named Yukon Cornelius.
Yes.
As you do.
Who's, just looking for candy mines, because that's what dwarves do. Dwarves make candy, and then they send it to the elves to turn into magic candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
As everyone knows.
As everyone knows.
What dwarves have always done in fiction and high fantasy.
Yes. They mine candy.
They mine candy, a classic dwarf move right there.
Now I'm imagining just like, those gritty, dark underground dwarf cities where everything's made of like metal and machinery, but all it's like peppermint.
But it's like gingerbread houses.
Yeah, gingerbread houses and gumdrops.
But it still somehow has that edgy vibe to it.
Yeah, it's all licorice flavored. Anyway, no. So they are looking for the Island of Misfits. We're not going to call it Misfit Toys, but it is that one. Because Rudolph has heard that's where elves and druids who don't fit in go.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the whole way there, they're chased by all of these abominable snow monsters, because everyone knows abominable snow monsters eat Christmas. I almost said candy. Christmas magic.
That too, probably.
And Rudolph has Christmas magic.
Oh, man.
So they get to the island, and I guess then we pivot to Clarice.
Yeah. They get to the island where they learn how to be happy with themselves as they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Meanwhile,
Clarice
realizes that Rudolph is gone. Like, gone. And she's like, dang. And her dad's like, this is man's work. And
her dad was probably like, good riddance.
Yeah. Her dad's
Rudolph's dad shows up for the first time in the movie and is like, his one line is, no, you women stay here. This is man's work. And he goes off and doesn't find Rudolph.
And never shows up again in the movie, yeah.
I must go get the milk and also my son.
And also my son. Have you seen my son? And then there's a whole Finding Nemo part. So Clarice chases after Rudolph. And there's a lot of dramatic barely missing each other's, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my god, so good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like there's a snowstorm and they pass going opposite directions, just like out of eyesight in the snow. One of them is like sleeping under a tree and the other one walks past while they're asleep and doesn't notice, all that sort of thing.
All of that, yes.
All of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad. And then Clarice eventually realizes, wow, he probably went to the Island of Misfits. That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Or maybe he tells her that.
Yeah, maybe that's something they like talked about as kids. Because like, what if like Rudolph's big fear was always like he was afraid of like not fitting in and not being a good enough druid? He was like, oh, like what would I do? Like maybe I would go to this place. And she finally remembers like, oh my god, Rudolph always said if he wasn't a druid, he would have to go to the Island of Misfits, and like he is a druid, but he's the wrong kind of druid, so maybe he's still gonna go there.
Oh my
or
god.
something.
What if it's Clarice's worst fear? And if she
Oh!
leaves the town, then she has to go to the Island of Misfits because they won't let her back in.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she does it to go find Rudolph.
Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, that for sure.
Is her biggest fear, but he's her best friend.
He's her best friend.
He's her best friend and nothing more.
Just a friend.
Just
they're
friends.
just friends.
Just
She would
friends.
never want to do anything to change what they have between them.
Yeah, for sure. And so she manages to get to the Island of Misfits. And when she gets there, it's nighttime. And she's like, oh my god. She hears Rudolph. She's like, oh my god, it's him. But as she's like coming up towards them, she sees Hermie checking Rudolph's teeth in a very miscommunicative way.
It's a compromising position.
Yeah. Maybe it's the thing, you know, where like she's like running to try and meet him, and then she sees him like
Yeah.
that with Hermie,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and she like
And she
turns away.
stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Rudolph sees her and is like,
Yeah.
oh my god, Clarice, and he gets up and chases after her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
her
yeah,
feelings
yeah,
are
yeah.
hurt and she doesn't know why, because Rudolph is just her friend and she should be happy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Aw.
Aw.
Aw. God, we're
Aw.
such saps.
Okay, but wait. So we had talked about that then Rudolph has to leave to go become a man or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe they have like their nice reunion scene and like stuff is a little weird, and like Rudolph thinks it's because like he left and she's mad at him, and she thinks, or she doesn't know why she's jealous, and she's like trying to figure out what she's so jealous about.
Yeah.
And they're like having that thing, and like Rudolph introduces her to his new friends, Hermie and Yukon, and it's like a little weird because like she's all in her head and she like thinks Hermie is kissing her best friend, and like that's totally fine. Why wouldn't that be fine?
Yeah, we're just best friends.
They have their like first night, and as they're all like settling down for the night, one of the island's like guards or whatever is like, oh my god, our perimeter alert just went off. There's a bumble in the area, like everybody get inside.
Yeah.
And Rudolph is like, no, a bumble, like, and now Clarice is here, like I can't put Clarice at risk. I like keep putting my friends at risk, and I keep putting these people here at risk, and then he leaves again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my god, Rudolph, what the stop running away.
Okay, what if Rudolph leaves and nobody realizes?
Mhm.
And
They all think he's in a different bumble shelter.
yeah, they all think he's somewhere else. And because like Rudolph showed up and is just, you know, the greatest guy, and when he was
Yeah.
meeting everybody, he was like, I think acid candy is cool. I think turning into a mouse is awesome, you know? Like he's like
Yeah.
really hyping
He's
everyone
like such
up.
a nice guy.
Yeah. And so like they're like, oh my god, a bumble has never been this close before. And then someone's like, well, you know, I have like acid candy. What if we scare it away with that? And then another person is like, wow, bumbles are really afraid of very small, very fast
Yeah,
animals.
bumbles are afraid of mice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What if you distract it and then we throw acid candy in, and then everyone starts pitching in and they're just like, wow, Rudolph taught us to be so cool.
Aw, yeah.
Yeah.
And Rudolph doesn't know how much he helped them because he's already left at this
Because he
point.
already left to try and draw the
Oh,
bumble
that's
away.
so sad.
The bumble, right?
The bumble.
We should clarify if anyone hasn't seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They're called bumbles in the movie.
Yeah, because no children can say abominable, so they call them bumbles.
They call them bumbles.
I thought
Anyway.
his name was just Bumble.
I think that's what Yukon names the one of them at the end.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yukon Cornelius is the one who calls them all bumbles.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been a
but we're
while.
doing that because it's cuter than
Yeah.
abominable.
It's abominable snow monster is a lot of phrases.
Many syllables.
Many syllables. Anyway, so Rudolph leaves. And he's like, wow, everything's hard. I'm so sad. I've had to leave friends over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And then he grows up into a hot 18-year-old, I guess,
Oh my god.
or something.
Yeah, sure.
And then he's like, you know what? I can't keep running away from my problems.
Yeah, he gets lonely probably.
Yeah, he's like, man, I really miss my friends.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Okay. Should we, though, have the whole subplot where Rudolph runs away? I know that's like
a great
in...
point. That's a lot.
It's like in the canon, but I feel like they all need to go back to Christmas Town together so that Rudolph and Clarice can have their...
That's a great point.
Will they, won't they, we need to figure out who we are to each other kind of subplot. I guess main plot.
Yeah. This, like, long, extended, lonely part. We've already dealt with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
So maybe that's, like, they are convinced to go home because Clarice tells them, like, no, everybody is worried about you, like, we all missed you, I mean, my dad's a jerk, but, like, everybody else has a plan, like, we're gonna do this and this and this to make sure that everybody's safe and you can come home with us. So she, like, convinces them that it's okay to go home, and he's still not, like, sure about it until they get there. Maybe.
Okay, yeah. Or maybe after they fight the Bumble, they're like, wait, there shouldn't be, like, a Bumble this far. You know? This close to...
This close to the North Pole?
The North Pole? Yeah, you know, like...
Yeah, Bumbles are nocturnal. Like, how did it get this far north? So soon or something. It's not the solstice yet. They hear there's a Bumble coming, and maybe that's when, like, Rudolph is like, I need to leave. I'm endangering all of these people here. So maybe, like, Clarice and Hermie and Yukon go with them, or go with him. And then they don't all realize that, like, they have helped the Misfits as much as the Misfits have helped them, and, like, the Misfits fight off the Bumble or something.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
And then they realize, like, oh no, that, like, the kids are gone. And then that's how, like, the Misfits end up going to Christmas Town later. I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, hold on. Let me think.
I got ahead of myself.
Yeah. I like the idea that the Misfits figure it out on their own.
Oh, wait. Maybe we combine the two things where, like, Rudolph hears that there's a Bumble coming and tries to run off again. Everybody, like, fights the Bumbles off, and then they realize, like, oh my god, Rudolph is missing. And they go look for him, but they actually find him this time. And they're like, no, like, come back with us, like, see what we did. This is all, like, thanks to you encouraging us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, wow, maybe this isn't so bad. Like, maybe I can go home. Because maybe he's been wanting to go home ever since he left, but he's just too afraid of, like, causing harm to people that he cares about. And also is traumatized by being bullied by adults as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Maybe in the moment, they're like, oh my god, a Bumble is here. We should hide. And then Rudolph is like, well, if we hide, then it'll just come back. You know, like, we can't just always hide from it. That's the moment where he's like, you can throw acid candy at it. You can do whatever, you know? What if we all work together and then we can fight off this Bumble? And so then they fight it off. And
Can
then
I make a slight modification?
Yeah.
Which is that it's Clarice's idea
to
all work together to fight off the Bumble, and that's when Rudolph realizes that, like, no, I actually am in love with her. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And whatever, like, because she's like, wait, Rudolph, you have Christmas magic. And he's like, I know, it's what's causing all of this. And she's like, no. The Bumbles come because of, like, there's just so much magic over there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That they're just gonna, if we don't stop them, they'll end up at Christmas Town. And so it's her idea to be like, Rudolph, you can be the bait. Everyone else, use your magic to stop it.
Uh-huh.
And that's where we can have the moment that is canonical that Hermie pulls all the teeth out of the Bumble and then it's fine. Yeah. It can't eat magic anymore if it doesn't have its magic teeth.
Maybe part of Yukon's, like, prospecting kit or whatever, or dwarf magic, allows him to, like, tame the Bumble or befriend the Bumble or something.
Or, like, confuse it.
Yeah, well, it ends up being the thing in the movie where Yukon and Bumble are, like, best buds at the end.
Yeah, I just thought that was
Which
confusing.
I think is cute.
Okay,
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
You know, maybe. We'll get there.
Yeah. Maybe he's the one who like knocks it out, and then Hermie takes its teeth out, and they're like, "Wow, teamwork!
Teamwork. We can
Now
be
we're
in
in love
love
also."
Yeah. It's a lot like teamwork, being in love.
Being in love, I assume.
Yeah, and so maybe they're like, wait, if there's a Bumble here, that must mean that there's already Bumbles at Christmas Town.
Yeah, it's early for them.
Maybe the idea is that the reason, like, they make all this Christmas candy, magic Christmas candy, and then they have to get rid of it on Christmas.
What a stupid system.
Because, well, they send it
because
out.
It attracts the Bumbles.
Yeah, they send it all out to,
care.
the surrounding countryside to spread the Christmas joy, but also because then the Bumbles won't know
But
where
also,
to go.
yeah. Yeah. To confound the Bumbles.
Yeah. So then they're like, oh, dang, we have to go save Christmas Town. And...
Yeah, they won't be ready yet.
What?
Maybe they're not like,
Oh, yeah.
oh no, it's early. Like, they won't be ready for the Bumbles. We have to go warn them.
Yeah, Christmas Eve isn't until tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they all run back to Christmas Town together.
Yeah. Maybe Rudolph gets ahead. Well, no, because he has to have a journey with Clarice.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve is next week. So it takes them a whole week to get back. So they can have their, like, wow, we, like, something has changed between us.
Right, okay. Is this the part? It's not after the big battle?
Well, I feel like they start, like, feeling it, but neither of them really, like, knows what to say. So they're, like, kind of skirting around it, but it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's been so long. What have you been up to? Like, how has your life been without me?
They, like, bump into each other awkwardly, and then they're like, ah, and then they can't meet each other's eyes, and then they're like, anyway, I have to go tie my shoelaces, and they leave.
Yeah. And Rudolph keeps, like, confiding in his other best friend, Hermie, like, like, we've been friends for so long, but I feel like something's changed.
And because they spend so long talking.
They spend so long talking, and, like, now they're both 18.
Yeah.
They have hormones and
But because he and Hermie talk so much,
yeah,
Clarice is like, damn.
Yeah.
They're super in love.
Yeah, like, how could I come between that? Like, that's...
Beautiful.
That's my best friend, and I just want him to be happy, even if it's not with me.
Yeah.
And then after the fight, doesn't Rudolph get, like, knocked out or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Clarice... So that happens in the fight, and Clarice is like, oh my god, like, I thought I was gonna lose you, and Rudolph is like, no, like, oh, you'll have to work harder than that, or whatever. And then one of them suddenly kisses the other one, and then does the, like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry, I can't believe I just did that, and then the other one, like, follows up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where...
Yeah, Sam, what sort of, like, friends to lovers confessions are we talking here?
Ooh, yeah.
How do they happen?
Full on. Like, like, one of them admits it. I think what I always like is, like, where they banter a bit and they're, like, arguing, and then one of them is like, just like, I love you, okay? And then the other one's like,
oh yeah,
what?
Oh yeah, that's
and then it's like, I've had these feelings for so long, and I'm just so tired of it, and I'm just like, I love you. And then they start making out.
Yeah.
Oh, so Clarice has been in love with Rudolph since she was, like, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they finally have the, like, everything feels so different between us, what's going on? And then, yeah, Clarice is like, I've been in love with you my whole life, and, like, that's why I chased after you, that's why I'm here right now, and, like, I can see that you're happy with Hermie, and I don't want to come in between that, but
and
I
then
just,
he's like, what?
I can't handle it anymore, and then he kisses her, maybe?
I think
while she's, like, in the middle of this, or no?
That could work. I wouldn't be mad at that. I also like the him being like, what, you thought Hermie, what? And she's like, you two are together, aren't you? And he's like, no. And then he's just like,
oh God,
and then he, like, walks closer to her, and then, like, puts his finger under her chin and is like, I only have eyes for you, and then makes out with her.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Beautiful. Stunning.
Dramatic.
He puts his finger under her chin, and she's like, I saw you doing this with Hermie, and he's like, excuse me.
He was
and then he's
checking
like,
my
he
teeth.
was just checking my teeth, you silly
yeah,
girl.
and like that's, like, sexy whispery, like, our mouths are almost touching voice. He was just checking my teeth.
Okay, no, that's like, that's a little weird.
Yeah. No, he's
I know,
like,
but it's funny. I don't like it either, but it's funny.
He's standing there and he's like, you just, like, you're telling me Hermie hasn't spent, like, 2 hours staring at your teeth yet? Have you met that guy? He loves teeth.
Yeah.
He loves teeth.
I like
and
that.
she's like,
He's like, oh, you know what it is? Like, Yukon got him those bumble teeth and he's just been so distracted, but, like, once he gets over that, like, he'll definitely be in your mouth.
yeah.
And then she's like, I only want one person in my mouth.
No!
You set it up. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Hate it.
what have we done?
What have we done?
Okay,
This podcast was a mistake.
We're making
regret
this.
everything.
Okay, no. It's wholesome. Again, they have this whole conversation, but like during it, it's very wholesome. It's very sweet. There's no innuendos.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that.
It's not gross.
And then eventually they both stare longingly into each other's eyes with tears in their eyes because like they both realize that they love each other. And then there's a passionate kissing scene. We'll keep it PG. They're not going to just have sex on the forest floor against a tree.
Passionate kissing scene.
But, I mean...
What if they're about to kiss, and then Hermie or Yukon is like, Rudolph, there's a bumble, or whatever.
Or they're like, wow, you can... The lights of Christmas Town, we're there.
Yeah.
You know, like...
As a reader, if I was reading this or watching this, I would be so mad. But
okay, so they're mid.
Would keep me going. Like this is the that keeps me reading until 3 a.m. because you're like, they need to have that first kiss.
Yeah, they almost have it, and then they're interrupted because they can see Christmas Town or whatever, and then they don't get their first kiss until like after the fight with the Bumble, when like Rudolph
gets knocked out, and Clarice thinks he's dead.
Yeah, and she's so upset, and then he wakes up and has some like cute line about like, I don't know, haven't you cried over me enough? That's not right.
Yeah.
But, you know, he has that like, oh, I've just been unconscious and now I've woken up and magically don't have any kind of concussion or brain injury. And he has a cute little quip.
Yeah.
And then they kiss on the ground, but it's still PG.
Yeah. Okay, before we make this fully wholesome, you guys move past it too fast for me to make my joke. But when he's has his hand on her face or whatever and is like, no, me and Hermie were never together. He's like, he's literally Yukon Cornelius right now. You can snip down.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, I like that more. I enjoy that.
If you listen closely, you can hear their growls of pleasure.
It's like,
oh my god, Hannah!
It's like your tent is not close enough to theirs. I haven't slept in like 4 days.
You're drowning out the cries of dying men or something.
The cries of the dying men. Drowning out the love confession in the tent next door.
Oh my god.
Like, but I love you so much. And then I was about to make a noise and I won't. I'm not going to do it. That's disgusting.
Not. We've already gone way too far. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that's canonical.
That's the fan fiction.
Yeah.
Canonical.
That's
canonical.
Somebody's no. Anyway.
They're not straight.
Nothing should be conical, really. Go see a doctor.
Maybe the antlers. The bumble teeth are conical.
Yeah, there you go. Much like a T-Rex. Anyway,
yes. The fandom is like obsessed with Hermie and Yukon and often write about that scene.
In the fanfic, it's 100% Yukon being like, I got you some bumble teeth. You can practice dentistry on them.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then they're in love.
Yeah, and Hermie's like, wow, nobody's ever understood me like you do. This is the best gift I've ever gotten.
Yukon Cornelius is like blushing.
I got something else for you.
No.
Hannah!
Okay, Yukon Cornelius also thinks that Hermie and Rudolph are dating and is like,
oh my god, yeah. Yeah,
and then he's like,
all around.
I just thought you would like them. Anyway, I'm about to leave forever. And then Hermie's like, nobody's ever gotten me teeth before. And then they make out.
Then they make out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of weird emphasis on Yukon's teeth from Hermie's perspective as they make out.
They're so shiny.
I thought
they're
a foot fetish was the worst, but I think a tooth fetish is now
a tooth fetish
bad.
is a little weirder.
I really don't want to think about it. Anyway, let's go back to the main characters and stop writing fanfiction.
A tooth fetish is way more convenient if you're in the Arctic.
I mean,
that's fair.
Still weird. Still weird.
Still weird. Anyway, the main characters.
Right, the main characters. See, we're doing what the fandom does, where they get really interested in the queer-coded side characters instead of the main hetero pairing.
They're not coded. They're canonical.
They're explicitly queer.
I mean, we could also say both our
Hermie
leads are
is
bi.
so gay. It's true. They're not.
They're not.
Maybe Rudolph is.
They can both be bi, but they've just never been in love with anyone else, so, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
they're
fair.
actually both demi-romantic.
Exactly.
Yukon is for sure pansexual.
Yeah.
He is into everybody.
Yes.
Except Bumbles.
Yeah.
But maybe Bumbles. In the
This is not a monster romance.
It is
Can we do
not.
one of those next year?
No.
No, because that will require me to read one, and I do not want to.
Oh, come on.
Didn't you read Ice Planet Barbarians?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Anyway, back to the main plot line. Okay, so they have their beautiful confession. And then they make it back to, I almost said Monster Town, Christmas Town. They make it back to Christmas Town. So they make it back to Christmas Town.
To warn them of the Bumbles.
And they show up and everyone's like, wow, maybe they're under siege or something.
By the Bumbles?
By the Bumbles. The Bumbles are like at the walls trying to like get the Christmas magic.
Yeah. And Christmas Town wasn't prepared, so all they could do was lock the doors and try to wait it out.
Yeah, and they're like, and because there are enough druids there or whatever, they all managed to like fly into Christmas Town or whatever.
Well, Rudolph is the only one who
them
can
in
fly,
one
right?
by one.
Yeah, Rudolph.
They could turn into like a big eagle or something. I don't know.
Okay, sure, yeah.
It's high fantasy. There have to be big eagles.
It's true. And they fly them only part of the way to Mordor.
Yeah.
What if it's just the Bumbles are just at Christmas Town and all of the like druids and the surrounding villages are just like hunkered down? Because if they don't do any magic, the Bumbles won't come to them, but they just have to like hope that the Bumbles like get what they're looking for before they get too frustrated or something.
But I think it should be that like Christmas King, Santa, Elf
Santa
King,
the Christmas King.
They go and talk to him and they're like, don't worry, we can save you.
Yeah.
They arrive and they're like, oh my god, Christmas King, what's happening? And he's like, we're gonna have to cancel Christmas. Because it's like our only option is just to throw all the Christmas candy out for the Bumbles to eat. To make them go away. And then Rudolph is like, but wait, what if me and my crew?
Yeah. They can like draw them away because Rudolph's Christmas magic is so powerful.
Well, now they know how to defeat Bumbles. They use their acid candy and their mouse druid.
Oh,
and...
yeah. So did the Misfits all like come with them? That's a big adventuring party.
That's what I was assuming.
Okay. Maybe some of the Misfits come with them. Not all of them. Because that's a lot of people.
I mean,
but the mouse druid and like the acid one. This is not important.
Yeah. What if, like, they don't think any of the Misfit toys come with them because Rudolph's like, we have to save Christmas Town. And they're like, Christmas Town kicked us out. No thanks.
Yeah.
And then Rudolph is like, well, I'll just have to go back and try and save Christmas Town on my own. And then when he starts to fight the Bumbles, all of the Misfits show up.
Oh, that's nice.
Because they like
and they're like,
Rudolph.
oh, you left us so quickly. Like, we had to... It took us a while to catch up to you, but we're here now.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
And then after they save the town, the Christmas King is like, you're all welcome back in Christmas Town.
Yeah.
Even if you do turn magic candy into acid.
Yeah, I feel like something we didn't address explicitly, but something that definitely was heavily implied is that probably at the beginning of this story, everyone is very rigid and kind of discriminatory. It's like you fit in or you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they learn to be like more tolerant of people who are different because everybody brings something different to the table and everybody's like different talents and unique perspectives are valuable in society.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I like that.
This is a great story.
This is a great story.
Is it a Hallmark movie? Who knows?
It's completely ridiculous.
It's a very extreme Hallmark movie. I mean,
We definitely need to flesh out the romance subplot for sure, right?
I mean, I think it's there. I think we made it more of a subplot than a plot.
Yeah. I think much like previous times, we
Yeah.
just have to come up with some scenes that would definitely be in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one is, not the first chronologically, but like the first one we came up with is definitely the Clarice sees Rudolph and Hermie and assumes they're kissing, but they're not.
Yeah.
That's like very classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also some at the beginning. There'll be scenes showing their friendship, kind of. Like there might even be like a montage or something of them growing up together.
Yeah, I bet the showing them as like childhood friends is in flashbacks, kind of throughout the show or throughout the movie, as Clarice is like looking for Rudolph and she's like thinking about the conversations they had, and Rudolph is like off with Hermie and trying to like believe that he's where he's supposed to be and like this is everything that he was meant to do.
Yeah.
But he keeps thinking about his best friend who he left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a moment where like Hermie's like, oh well, maybe she'll come to, she knows where you're going. Maybe she'll come to the island of misfit toys for you.
Yeah.
And he's like, she hates the island of misfits. Like she'll never come here. And then he's all bummed.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to her on her way there.
Her way there. Yeah.
Or it cuts to the memory of like her being like, no, neither of us will ever end up on the island of misfits. Yeah. We're in this together. We're gonna be great druids.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna do it together. And like he has to comfort her because she's the one who's worried about not being good enough.
Yeah. Because Rudolph is like really good at like, maybe they're not allowed to do like the big druid magics until they're 15 or whatever. But he's like good at like the little stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know,
he can like talk to butterflies or whatever.
Little animals come up to him, but only, Christmassy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like partridges and
cardinals.
Yeah.
Vampire bats.
Yeah. Normal stuff. Turkeys.
Normal stuff.
They shouldn't.
Turkeys. Well, he's not a vampire, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
None of them ever go to Clarice, and she thinks it's because she's a bad druid, and neither of them realize that it's because they're attracted to Rudolph's Christmas magic, not his druid magic.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
What
a good story.
Dramatic.
So they're on their journey, and they both have flashbacks to when they were kids, and they were best friends, and they were, like, promising each other that they'd, like, always be together, and they'd always, like, take care of each other and be at each other's sides, and nothing will ever come between them or whatever. And then flash forward and something has come between them and they're both sad about it.
Yeah. What if it's like all the scenes are like he's like, oh yeah, she'd never want to come to the island of misfits. And he, like, the flashback is, her saying like, no, we'll never go. And then like, instead of it cutting back to him when it's done, it cuts to her. And she's like looking at something that clearly meant she was thinking of the same moment. Like she's looking at a sign that's like, island of misfits this way.
Yeah.
2 kilometers.
Yeah. Or like they talked about it while they were like lying on their backs, like looking at the stars, and then it cuts to her in that same pose, but he's not beside her now.
No.
And they're both looking at the same stars. Because Rudolph is lying on his back telling this story to Hermie. Yeah. And looking up at the stars. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's like the whatever constellation. I remember talking about this with my friend, and then flashback, and then it's her. Flash forward to Clarice. Wow, that's good.
That's dramatic.
That's so cute. And then she finally catches up to him at the island. She sees him and like starts running, realizes that he's kissing Hermie, sort of, and like stops.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
Stops and is like, oh, I don't know, and starts to turn away, and then Rudolph sees her and is like, oh my god, Clarice, is that really you? What are you doing here? And they have
he's
nice
so excited,
reunion.
and she's just like...
He's so happy to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I came to find you.
And she's like stuttering or like faltering a bit, but she's like, because you're my best friend, like...
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, but for a second there...
Yeah.
It felt sort of like you were more.
Yeah. Ugh.
Sam and I both made real noises, and then Hannah was like, anyway, here's kind of a noise.
Anyway.
Similar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, then Rudolph starts off being like, oh my god, like, this is my best friend. I need to, like, introduce her to Hermie and Cornelius. But then, like, she's acting a little weird, and he feels insecure because it's like, what if it's because, like, she's afraid of my Christmas magic? So then he starts feeling insecure. And then they just, like, don't talk about their feelings the way they should.
Yeah, maybe they have a fight.
Yeah, that checks.
Because she came all this way to find him, and then something.
And he's just gonna run away again?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Ooh. What a...
You're just gonna leave me behind again?
Oh god.
And then she runs away from him.
Yeah.
And in that moment is when they're like, the Bumble is here. And so he doesn't even know where she is.
Oh my god, that's so sad.
God.
He must be so worried.
He's so worried.
He's so worried.
And so it's even more of them like, where is he? Where is she? You know?
Yeah.
Dang.
This is a YA novel. This still is a Hallmark movie.
It's very angsty.
I forgot. It's very angsty.
I think we need to just throw out the fact that this is going to be a Hallmark movie. I mean, it is.
Yeah, I think it's just a holiday rom-com.
It's a holiday rom-com.
Like I said, it's a new genre of Hallmark movie because we got a bigger budget. We were allowed to make a 2.5 hour movie. And it was premiering on Netflix as well as the Hallmark Channel. So, there we go.
Yeah. The first of, I hope, many genre Hallmark movies.
I would watch the out of this every Christmas.
Right?
Me too.
God, I would watch the hell out of all of our movies every Christmas.
Oh my god, all of our movies are so good.
I'm literally thinking about going to read, like, a Friends to Lovers book right after this because I'm just like, I need to feel something.
I think that's it, right? I think we did it.
I agree.
Yeah. Should we summarize the journey back? They have a bunch of, like, will they, won't they flirtation.
Yeah.
There's a battle that we just kind of glossed over where they have to fight the Bumbles. Rudolph almost sacrifices himself, but doesn't quite.
He gets
Clarice
knocked
is
out.
like
Clarice stands over him.
Yeah.
He wakes up, says something cute. She's like, oh my god, you're okay. And then they have their kiss, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. I feel like that's the moment when Clarice is, like, standing over him, that all the other misfits show up, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my god, you came back. And they're like, you're our friend. You made us believe in ourselves.
Clarice is like, everybody loves you, Rudolph.
Yeah.
Aww.
Aw, it doesn't matter if all you can turn into is a reindeer with jingle bells.
It's a reindeer with jingle bells. You're important.
You're important. People are more than just what they can turn into.
Oh.
But
there's more to you than just your magic.
The only issue we have with this is we wanted to give Clarice a hero journey too, and I don't know if we have given her that, as she's mostly an accessory in Rudolph's success.
That's true.
But, I mean... we can just acknowledge that we did that, and leave it at that.
We did do that.
And say... women can be more than just there to accessorize a man's success, but unfortunately in this case, we did do that.
We failed to do that. We did do that. She has one conversation with one of the misfits where they both talk about their favorite martial arts moves to prove that they are strong women, and also that this movie passes the Bechdel test.
Amazing. Beautiful. Mwah. Yes. I like that. Yeah, because then maybe they could be like their besties throughout it, but we don't have time to delve into that because we're just doing the basics here. But I do like that, and maybe like they teach each other how to fight better or something, and like she gets her okay, I'm okay with that. I like that. I support it.
Yeah, Clarice is clearly like the strong, confident one in this relationship.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but I just didn't
Rudolph
want the highlight of her to be that she's the accessory to his success, so like there's got to be a little something sprinkled in there.
Maybe she was the one that when they left, she was the one who went and told the other misfits, like, we're going to Christmas Town, I think we're gonna need your help. Like, can you organize and come with us or something like that? Or no?
I like them just coming on their own.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Or maybe that, like, Rudolph does his thing where, like, we have to go back to protect them. And they're like, they kicked us out. And he's like, you're right. I wouldn't expect you to or whatever. And he, like, wanders away sadly. And then Clarice is like, they kicked him out too. And you're just going to let him, after everything he's done for you.
Yeah.
Go back and fight this alone. And they're like, what do you expect us to do? And she's like, you know, what he said you could do or whatever. And then, yeah.
Stand up and, like, prove that you're worth more than they said you were, or some like that.
I still like that she gets, like, a best friend out of this, and they have the whole, like, Valkyrie moment from, like, Akatar. I want that.
Sure.
I want that. Hannah hasn't read that because she refuses to read it. But I like that moment, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ends up being, like, it starts off with Rudolph and Clarice are best friends, and then at the end of it, they are in love, and Rudolph's best friend is Hermie, and Clarice's best friend is it Polly, the doll from the Misfit Toys?
Sure, love it.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I, just to, not to drag this on longer, I also like it to kind of be that, like, when she's a kid, because she thinks she's not as good at druid stuff, like, she's like, oh man, I can't even get, like, a single animal to come to me. All I can do is, like, grow this one plant.
Ooh.
Which isn't even helpful. And so, like, the first person Rudolph convinces to be like, no, I think it's great, is, like, her. He's, like, the only person who's ever said it to her. That's one of the memories.
Yeah.
Aww.
What if that one plant, too, is, like, a pivotal thing that helps defeat the Bumbles?
Yeah, or she, like, uses it to make, like, a shield.
Yeah.
Or, like,
beauty.
Maybe it's... Is it holly or mistletoe that's the parasitic one?
Mistletoe.
I think it's mistletoe. I just listened
to this on one of our other ones.
Yeah, so did I.
I think it's mistletoe. Yeah.
I think it's mistletoe. So maybe as she's gotten older, she's become stronger, and it becomes pivotal in their fight with the Bumbles because she can cause mistletoe to, like, grow up and wrap around them and hold them down.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay,
it's
we found it. There's
her
hero journey. There we go. We did it. Okay, I'm happy.
Yep.
Yeah, she has, like, she had a block as a kid because she was, like, really insecure about being, like, a plant druid and not an animal druid.
Yeah.
And then Rudolph, as kids, helped her kind of discover her own power.
Yes.
And then she has, like, on her journey has been, like, practicing and, like, working on herself to become, like, the best plant druid there ever was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Respect.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a moment where it's like, here's the big secret. Like, yeah, I'm, like, a druid like everyone else. I can turn into all the animals, you know, exactly like they expect us to do. But I can also grow plants, you know?
Yeah.
We're not supposed to do that. Everyone's a misfit. But no one wants to show it to each other, you know?
There we go.
Yeah. Or instead of, like, laying it all out, she's like, yeah, but I can also do this.
Oh,
and then she, like, grows a bunch of vines that are like, and they shoot up behind her like she's walking away from an explosion in an action movie.
I love it.
Yeah.
You can't tell, but I, like, did hand gestures to go with it, and my arms are in the air right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's great.
It's great.
Okay, so we retconned ourselves to be a little more feminist.
Yeah.
Yes.
My alternate suggestion was going to be to gender bend Hermie and Yukon Cornelius.
I mean, I'm down with that, too.
I mean, like, no one...
Oh my god, Yukon would be such a good lesbian character, though.
I was going to say, we haven't had Sapphic yet, so...
We haven't. We'll have to do that next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Tune in Christmas 2023 when we do the Sapphic Bird Girls.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Somehow. That's gonna be a tough one.
It'll be the Grinch, but the Grinch is, like, the angriest woman.
Oh my god.
Oh.
It'll be the Taming of the Shrew.
Cindy Lou Who and
Cindy
no.
Lou Who.
But
anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
It's the little match girl.
We're done.
We're done. Okay.
I think normally we do an elevator pitch for the movie.
Yeah,
but
Sophie, do the elevator pitch.
I literally just did it.
She did.
I did it right after the break, but I'll anyway, it's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer meets
meets D&D.
Like World of Warcraft, D&D,
Lord of Thorns
yeah.
and Roses.
Slightly. Not even.
Yeah, they're
really.
not enemies.
That's a lot.
What's another YA book? Who reads YA here?
I've stopped recently. I don't read it that much anymore. What's a Friends to Lovers?
It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but D&D. We'll stick with that.
D&D. Yeah.
I'm trying to wait. Let me just.
I've forgotten every single book I've ever read.
Yeah, me too.
I know, me too.
Unfortunately, I think it's Rudolph meets Shadowbone.
I was just thinking that.
Oh yeah, that's
Which
what
I
I
hate.
think of. It's Alina and Mal.
I'm
God so
damn
mad
it.
about it.
Yeah.
God damn it. Why do we do this every time?
It's because Sophie and I were talking about it earlier.
Curse you, Lee Bardugo.
Yeah.
I haven't even thought about that book for like weeks. Why is this happening?
Yeah. It happens every time.
Okay, yeah,
anyway.
that's what it is, unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, we need to come up with a name for this movie.
Oh, yeah. This is so hard.
Naming it is always the hardest part.
What did we name the other ones? Remind me.
The first one was Putting the Chris Back in Christmas. And then last year was Christmas Dragon LLC.
You're sure
which is still my
Rockin'
favorite.
Around the Bringle Tree?
Yeah.
Rockin' Around the Chris Bringle Tree was our alternate title.
Alternate title.
Wow, Chris Bringle. What a good name.
Rudolph the Druid that saved Christmas.
Yeah.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, it's great. Or the Druid that saved Christmas, just like that.
The Druid that saved Christmas. Clarice and a bunch of guys. A court of...
No!
A court
I think we just call it
Candy
Christmas Tree.
And
Christmas Town.
Teeth.
Candy and teeth.
That's Hermes' story. That's the fanfic.
The Hermes story. The real main character.
Is it just Misfits : A Christmas Story?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's probably CHRISTMISFITS.
A Christmas Fits. Yeah, Christmas Fits.
That's
I like
pretty
that.
good.
Sure, I'll take
Christmas
that.
Fits.
CHRISTMISFITS.
We're
Why
a
not?
couple of Christmas Fits.
CHRISTMISFITS.
You can't fire me. I quit.
I've had
I'm
that
a
song stuck in my head since I said that sentence.
It's so good though. I don't remember any of the other lines.
So that's the only one that matters.
Okay, the Christmas Fits.
The CHRISTMISFITS.
Produced by A Real Podcast.
By A
Midlight
Real
Crisis.
Podcast.
Or wait, Midlight Crisis at A Real Podcast LLC.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Are we all decided?
Yeah,
Christmas Fits?
CHRISTMISFITS.
Yeah.
The Christmas Fits.
It sounds
Wow.
like we're trying to get sick agains for the holidays.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Why
Rudolph
does
is
it?
super ripped. We forgot that part.
Yeah.
He's so swole.
He's so swole.
Uh-huh.
He's
So is
15
Hermie,
years-
inexplicably.
He's 15 years old and his body is hard all over.
Oh,
Like Eric.
why did you have to do that?
Okay.
I'm done. I quit.
If you enjoyed listening to us pitch the Christmas Fits, consider rating and reviewing us on Spotify or your podcatcher of choice. You can talk to us and find fun-related content on social media. We are at Midlight Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Tumblr. And all chapters of the podcast so far are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube. And now Sam has to say something.
What if it's Rudolph the Christmas Druid?
With the Christmas Druid had a very
let's come up with-
shiny vibe. And if you ever saw him, you would say he really glowed.
Rudolph the Christmas Misfit, you'll go down in history.
History.